But at that point of noon, the huge Earl Durham, broad-faced with under fringe of russet beard, bound on a foray, rolling eyes of prey, came riding with 100 lances up, but ere he came, like one that hails a ship, cried out with a big voice, "What, is he dead?" "No, no, not dead," she answered in all haste. "Would some of your people take him up, and bear him hence out of this cruel sun? Most sure am I, quite sure, he is not dead." Then said Earl Durham, "Well, if he be not dead, why wail ye for him thus? Ye seem a child, and be he dead, I count you for a fool. Your wailing will not quicken him. Dead or not, ye mar a comely face with idiot tears. Yet since the face is comely, some of you here take him up, and bear him to our hall, and if he live, we will have him of our band, and if he die, why earth has earth enough to hide him. See ye take the charger too, a noble one." He spake, and passed away, but left 2 brawny spearmen, who advanced, each growling like a dog, when his good bone seems to be plucked at by the village boys, who love to vex him eating, and he fears to lose his bone, and lays his foot upon it, gnawing and growling. So the ruffians growled, fearing to lose, and all for a dead man, their chance of booty from the morning's raid, yet raised and laid him on a litter bier, such as they brought upon their forays out for those that might be wounded, laid him on it all in the hollow of his shield, and took and bore him to the naked hall of Durham, his gentle charger following him unled, and cast him and the bier in which he lay down on an oaken settle in the hall, and then departed, hot in haste to join their luckier mates, but growling as before, and cursing their lost time, and the dead man, and their own earl, and their own souls, and her. They might as well have blessed her. She was deaf to blessing or to cursing save from one. So for long hours sat Enid by her lord, there in the naked hall, propping his head, and chafing his pale hands, and calling to him, till at the last he wakened from his swoon, and found his own dear bride propping his head, and chafing his faint hands, and calling to him, and felt the warm tears falling on his face, and said to his own heart, "She weeps for me," and yet lay still, and feigned himself as dead, that he might prove her to the uttermost, and say to his own heart, "She weeps for me." But in the falling afternoon returned the huge Earl Durham, with plunder to the hall. His lusty spearmen followed him with noise, each hurling down a heap of things that rang against his pavement, cast his lance aside, and doffed his helm. And then there fluttered in, half bold, half frighted, with dilated eyes, a tribe of women dressed in many hues, and mingled with the spearmen. And Earl Durham struck with a knife's haft hard against the board, and called for flesh and wine to feed his spears. And men brought in whole hogs and quarter beeves, and all the hall was dim with steam of flesh. And none spake word, but all sat down at once, and ate with tumult in the naked hall, feeding like horses when you hear them feed, till Enid shrank far back into herself to shun the wild ways of the lawless tribe. But when Earl Durham had eaten all he would, he rolled his eyes about the hall, and found a damsel drooping in a corner of it. Then he remembered her, and how she wept, and out of her there came a power upon him, and rising on the sudden he said, "Eat, I never yet beheld a thing so pale. God's curse, it makes me mad to see you weep. Eat, look yourself. Good luck had your good man, for were I dead, who is it would weep for me? Sweet lady, never since I first drew breath have I beheld a lily like yourself. and so there lives some colour in your cheek. There is not one among my gentlewomen were fit to wear your slipper for a glove. But listen to me, and by me be ruled, and I will do the thing I have not done, for ye shall share my earldom with me, girl, and we will live like two birds in one nest, and I will fetch you forage from all fields, for I compel all creatures to my will. He spoke. The brawny spearman let his cheek bulge with the unswallowed peace, and turning stared, while some, whose souls the old serpent long had drawn down, as the worm draws in the withered leaf and makes it earth, hissed each at other's ear what shall not be recorded. Women they, women, or what had been those gracious things, but now desired the humbling of their best, yea, would have helped him to it, and all at once they hated her, who took no thought of them, but answered in low voice, her meek head yet drooping, I pray you of your courtesy, he being as he is, to let me be. She spake so low he hardly heard her speak, but like a mighty patron, satisfied with what himself had done so graciously, assumed that she had thanked him, adding, Yea, eat and be glad, for I account you mine. She answered meekly, How should I be glad henceforth in all the world at anything, until my Lord arise and look upon me?